I never take a look around. I'll think through my next thought. Play.
I've been going to house venue since I was like 17 or so in the Boston scene. And then when I started going to school here, it was like all I did on the weekends. And I just, as lonely as life could feel, I felt like I could chill there at house shows and stuff. And so that was kind of how I spent my weekends. And I thought, low-key, as soon as I move somewhere that's not with my parents, like, I'm gonna do the same thing, because why not? And it was kind of in the back of my mind, but when we all moved here and, you know, took a little tour of the house and saw the basement, I said, all right, shows here or no? And then, yeah, I mean, they all said no, but of course I made it happen because, yeah.
I was always, like, I'd been to the shows, but, like, I wasn't always, like, I didn't really realize I wasn't, like, fully enjoying them yet. But, like, I would still go because there was so many people. But, like, over the summer, like, I got more into rock, like, actual rock. I never really liked rock music like that. I thought it was kind of like, yeah, okay, like, whatever, this is stupid shit. But, like, you know, but then I actually started thinking it was cool. And that's what was happening in the basements. And then September 2nd, 2022, first tango show, sophomore year, it's on YouTube. This band called Sauce on the Side was playing. And like it was so fast and awesome, and I just like went up and moshed with everybody. And like I really like that. I was like, I get it. Like I get why people like this.
The first actual show might have been 2021 at Tango's probably. That's how it actually started. So like 5 years now because it's 2026. So Tango started, the tip was a thing. So the tip is just coming back now, as you guys know. And at the time COVID was happening, so they were like kind of limiting the guests, I think, to a very small amount. But COVID was like, it was 2021 fall, so it was like subsiding and people were kind of meeting back up and shows were starting up again. And Burp had booked a show there with Red Ledger and Hazel at the time. And I think they like were just like, yeah, we're gonna cap it at like this really small amount. That was like kind of like silly to even do a show at that amount. So like, all right, well, we're probably not gonna do that. So we ended up just like cleaning out our basement and doing our own show there, and it was packed like right from the start.
Yeah, Tango's was my first like DIY experience like in the scene, and it was awesome. Yeah, just music majors and stuff like that. But yeah, it definitely like I remember that night, and I hate to say that it definitely changed my life. There are a lot of things that have changed my life, but yeah, the first Tango's show that I went to definitely changed my life for sure.
Tango's when I was a freshman was like, I think probably pretty similar to when I lived there, except it like felt different. Like going to college and all of a sudden people are like, there's a big culture of everyone wanting to go to like underground shows and stuff like that. I did that and it was like really exciting and new for me at the time. So thinking back and stuff, there was definitely like rose tinted glasses and stuff. Obviously it was like awesome at the time and like really cool and stuff, but I'm sure I remember it as being like even more like mystical and awesome. And like when I was living there, it was sort of like seeing it from behind the scenes and like it was really cool, and seeing how people enjoyed it and stuff was really awesome.
It was fun. Like I loved being the first thing that you saw and like inviting people in.
I did announcements for a minute, but I stopped that after a while. I didn't want to do that anymore.
Who's ready to rock?
My thought process at first was I really wanted to get hardcore adjacent acts into Lowell. Lowell has a huge history of like Vane FM and Fleshwater come out of Lowell, and there are other bands too that have like played at the Tip. I had a coworker who used to go to the Tip all the time. He was like, this is like 2 years ago. He was 30, so he's 32 now. And he was like, yeah, I used to go to Lowell all the time, and he talked about all these bands he saw there or whatever. A lot of emo stuff, a lot of like more hardcore adjacent stuff. I really enjoyed playing in college, like, a college-oriented scene, but I also felt like there was a sense of like community that was like, I don't want to say missing because there's a huge sense of community in Lowell already, But in regards to this, like this was a huge part of Lowell's culture, and it wasn't as prominent anymore. And I really that was my main inspiration, was like me thinking of Lowell and what used to happen and wanting to kind of bring that back to a certain extent. Not that that's all I wanted from Tangos, you know what I mean?
Tangos, it has its style, it has its vibe of shows that had been booked historically. And there was, coming out of the old guys running that venue for 4 years, there was a lot of, similar type shows that would happen, a lot of bands getting booked repetitively. And so we kind of wanted to stop that a little bit, give diversity, but also keep the tango sound, which, all the bills that were booked by Harrison, booked by JT, booked by Bryce, those were harder bills, and that's what the people wanted. But on the flip side of that, we had plenty of time to explore other things. So we did, like you said, Full Pocket. That was a jazz night, a wonderful jazz night.
Escape Durgan was the first Lowell band that I had ever seen, and they were also the first one that I had seen formed in Lowell.
Good evening, Tiger!
You're gonna have to give me a minute on this one. Favorite Lowell band? Honestly, like straight up Audie.
And then we would have nights where we would book the Roaches.
The bassist and the harmonica player and I, we've been together since like high school. Like probably we were 15 and we were kind of jamming. Alex didn't play harmonica at that point. Eventually I got him to play harmonica, so we've been going at that just ever since. Yeah, I like stay-at-home dads a lot. I think Connor is a great guitarist.
I would say like when we book a show and there's like a decent crowd, nothing like crazy, but like a decent crowd, and it's just like a nice chill night and we're all hanging out seeing like good music. I think that's really nice. Also, like when a band has like one of their first shows and it's at our house and like we put like a decent crowd in front of them and it goes really well, like that means a lot to me because that's how my bands get started. Like we play a show at like a basement or something, and like people have never heard of us, but there's like 50 people there, and I think that means a lot.
For the booking process, like I come at it like I just want to give anyone and everyone a chance to like have a spot to like show people what they do, and I feel like a lot of that comes from like being denied like shows at house venues while I'm watching my male counterparts get the same spot, and it's like, well, what am I doing that's different that warrants someone else doing something that's like the exact same shit as me, but they get a spot and I don't, and just clawing my way to just get a show in a musty basement. It's like, that's not how it should be. There should be no bar like of like, oh yeah, that's like a real band, or like, oh yeah, that's corny music or whatever. Like anyone who is bold enough to wear their heart on their sleeve in that way and like want to show their art and music and what they're passionate about to other people should have a space to do that. So I'm never wicked strict ever about, if literally the way it goes is someone will hit me up to play here and I'm like, absolutely, let's pick a date and let's fucking book something. My favorite show at Roscoe's was probably the Roscoe Fest last year. It was just so fun to have music outside and to get people outside in the sun. And to have music just going nonstop. Because my favorite thing is, like, when you're already, like, chilling and partying and vibing, but you know there's afters. You know it's gonna keep going. And that's what we did. And it was so fun to just have, like, nonstop music, like, and to have so many people just, like, vibing, and we had food, and, like, it was so many different genres, but it was just perfect. And yeah, it was so nice to, like, bring that many people together too and kind of celebrate the end of the semester together.
We really appreciated the people who like follow the bands, like people who come from all over with the bands, who have been following the bands since their conception, and seeing it in our basement in fucking Lowell, Massachusetts.
So we would regularly push up to 150 people, possibly in the basement at one time, usually spread throughout the house, sometimes up to 200.
Realistically, that house was not made for that many people. That basement was not meant to house 200 heads.
There's definitely, everyone's concerned about safety hazards, in a basement venue. In general, that there's just like a default level of everyone being worried about there being, fire hazards and other issues. And then there's also the concerns of the house being not very sound. We were very worried about the structural integrity of the house. And some of the roommates had earlier in the years investigated the attic of the house, which seemed that it had been chewed through by some type of animal. So we were very concerned that, the house itself was going to collapse at any given time. So, it's definitely a little bit unsafe. But there was very little we could do.
The upkeep was honestly the worst part of it all. Being able to be a part of a venue, running a venue, that was easy. That was fun. That was awesome. Taking care of the space afterwards is what sucked. The fact that I had to live in that mess the next day was so bad. But I wouldn't have traded it for the world. It was a really, really good experience either way.
It's a lot, and we threw shows almost every weekend, and on one occasion 2 shows a weekend, and that just beats the hell out of you, It's just exhausting, but would I do it again? Maybe.
Being able to live with 9 other guys that I really get along with is just so awesome. Like, you always have friends around. And the amount of things that we got up to in that building, outside of the shows, inside of the shows, you wouldn't even want to know.
For the last show, bro, obviously everybody was smoking up whatever they wanted to, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, like, what the fuck are they gonna do, leave, and I'm never gonna come here again?
The last Tango's show was a lot.
Our whole collective effort of the finale of what tangos could possibly be. So we just reached out to all the bands that we loved, all the bands that had performed there multiple times and really carried us through our year's worth of entertainment. And we got an amazing bill.
That was like full of, from like 5 to like midnight, it was full of people. at the time, it was like stress fest for a lot of people, especially when trying to get the living room set up right before Told Not to Worry played. But holy fuck, that was like, I've never felt so much reward from all this work I put into something, especially for that 10-minute set was fucking crazy, dude. I don't think they get it because they're the ones that played it and they were just like, Jesus, that was stressful. But like, damn, man, like people, that left an impact on a lot of fucking people.
In that show, someone bodied through our wall. And so there was a human-sized hole in there, and Bryce, thank you, Bryce, patched it completely. And the landlord never knew. And he never will unless he sees this documentary.
The last tango show was very crazy and very long and very tiring, but it was like probably the most fun show I've ever been at, and just like having like the craziness and just like everyone sort of like uniting and feeling that the house was going away. So like one last time kind of thing, like and having the bands in the basement and in the living room, and just like the energy of like that being the first time that there was people like hanging out the window and stuff like that. It was great. Like, you know, normal tango shows were like great. I'm doing the hands again. Normal tango shows were really good, but the last one we just like added a couple extra bonus things, and it was just like, it was great.
I think that tangos will be remembered by the people who went there for the rest of their lives. And it might even be like told stories about later too. Like there is at least 2 generations of Lowellites who will remember tangos forever.
Shout out tangos. Yeah.
House venues and getting your start like in house venues is so beneficial. To just let people who are in the same city as you know like what's good with you, like, and to get that like local interest, like that is where your real like fan base will come from, is these basements.
House venues are great. It's like the best energy of those places. I don't really know what it is. It's just the feeling of the underground is like, I don't know, it's exciting. Yeah, it's like something we're not supposed to be doing.
The basement venues are a really important thing because there's no adults that organize it. It's always the kids, and that gives everyone the confidence to just make art. It's like it's a guaranteed audience with those basements on a packed night. People love that. People love seeing people play. People aren't super like too like chronically online. Like people still like real life stuff.
Having a basement where the stakes are not that high, and you know it's all DIY stuff. Like it's people who are just like you running it, and you know it's not like you have this heavy weight of like I need to do good, but it's like the perfect balance of like, okay, I want to do good and I want to impress my peers, but I know that like I'm safe to do that here.
I think it's really important because you're exposed to music that is made by other local artists, as opposed to like if you go to a big giant show, you see like a great artist, sure, but there's like hundreds of $1,000s worth of like production in a lot of those shows, and you don't really see how people like start off.
They are so important for that reason and for building confidence within a band and just having a space to let your heart out without feeling like, you know, you'll be wicked judged for it.
When you go to these local shows, you can make connections and be like, oh, I'm in this band, and we sound like you guys. Would you guys want to do a show together? Or like, hey, I'm booking a bill. Do you want to hop on my bill? Or, you know, I make shirts. I can make your shirts for you. Like, there's a whole community of like art beyond just the music that happens.
It's a lot. Like, I love seeing the people. I'm a social butterfly. Like, I loved talking to everybody, and everybody's there, and you can just talk to them about music whenever you want. Everyone's there because they like music. And also, like, sometimes I don't know what the bands are, and like, when you don't know what the band is and you don't know what to expect, like, it hits you harder. Like, it's cooler, like, when you don't expect something so good to happen.
You see, okay, the show is, I don't know who any of these bands are, but I know this place. I've seen 5 shows at this place, and I liked every single one of them, but I don't know these bands, and I'm going to go check them out. And that can be, like, a really cool way for people to find a new band, stuff like that, and, like, grow a scene. And, like, most of my favorite bands from, like, local shows and stuff like that, and my friends' bands and stuff were just, like, people saw them and they continued to play shows because they would just play at venues that like we had played at and stuff like that, like, and other bands had played at. Like if it was a new venue for every show in a city or a region or something like that, like a scene would just never happen because people like wouldn't know where to look.
The Lowell music scene is like a community, and it's what we all do together on the weekends. It's my church, like, you know, that's how I'd say it. It's church. That's church for me.
You know, I think about like sometimes if I didn't come up to Lowell and I just stayed in Rhode Island and like went to school for something else, like I wouldn't be here right now playing in Burb or met any of like my best friends, and I feel really blessed to be part of like the scene and stuff like that. The community is able to organize.
It's a culture that is being taken away from us through late stage capitalism, which sounds so corny and like I'm virtue signaling right now, but I'm so serious. People can't afford homes, you know what I'm saying? Young people would buy a house or, you know, rent out a house and it would be chill and, you know, the rules wouldn't be so rough and they could throw shows and, you know, they could buy gear and they could afford all this shit. It's getting really fucking hard now, and it really matters more than ever that you get out there and you pick up a fucking instrument or you fucking start making beats or you start fucking creating, especially like AI and all that shit. It's super important because music doesn't start from, you know, Spotify or record labels. It starts from like, you know, kids like doing their thing. People younger than me doing their thing, you know what I mean? Like those are the people that influence. Yeah.
Is there anything in my mind? No, there's nothing else in my mind.
Up late, hallelujah.